Hi guys, welcome back to the Stroke Recovery channel. This is a series of videos detailing my 5-year recovery from a major stroke and how it can help other people. After filming my video on mental filter issues, which is in my opinion the hardest thing to recover from, I got heaps of emails from people all over the world asking questions and thanking me for the video, saying they really needed to hear it. So I thought I'd add a second mental filter video to answer some questions and to add some things that are left out. Every time I post a video, I think of 10 more things I should have said. I am filming this on an iPad, so I don't expect smooth transition. So my major stroke was in the medial prefrontal area on the right hand side, so it was right about here, that area is known for personality and inhibition, mental filter issues. So it's what I call the garden variety stroke. It'll give you the face, arms and speech deficits and symptoms in the acute stages. I got a question about impulsive thoughts and how to overcome them. So the best way I describe these impulsive thoughts is to think without thought. This is quite common after a stroke. It can feel like 4 people are talking to you at once. You're talking to yourself, you're thinking about what you're talking about, you're thinking about thinking, and it's an endless loop. It doesn't leave much energy or time to think about anything else, so often you'll say the first thing that comes to your mind with mental filter issues. You do tend to wear your mind on your sleeve after a prefrontal stroke, whether it's left or right, can produce the same symptoms. If you do have a impulsive thought, just sit with it and digest it for a while. Don't speak or act. You can speak to a family member and say, I'm having these thoughts. You can go to your GP. I went to my GP a few times just for somewhat of a counselling session, just saying I'm thinking these thoughts, is this right? And my GP was fantastic. He was able to answer all my questions and referred me to a specialist psychologist that dealt with brain injuries. You may have trouble reading the room. Things like non-verbal communication can be really hard after a stroke. Let's say you're talking to somebody and they've had enough of talking to you, but you don't realise it, so you just go and keep talking. People don't always say what they mean, or their actions and words don't match up, and that can be really hard to deal with. In the 2 or 3 years post-stroke, I remember thinking that I'm not connected to everybody else. Everyone else was on the same page or the same level, and I wasn't connected, so I don't understand what's going on most of the time. It can leave you feeling alienated or completely alone, obsessing about your own thoughts and not wanting to talk to other people about it. Time heals this. I'm 5 years post-stroke and it's getting better every day. I think it's really important to really tend to how you feel and just understand that it is okay to be completely lost. It's a temporary period, gets better with time. It can present a side of you well hid, a side that you didn't know was within yourself. As Plato said, adversity introduces a man to himself. There is also a big component about not trusting your thoughts anymore and learning to trust new thoughts. You may be thinking, is this a brain damaged thought, or is this what I would have thought before the stroke, or is it the new me? Not trusting your own thoughts is interesting. It's an interesting situation to be in. I think it comes from not having a gut feeling anymore. I certainly didn't have a gut feeling for a long time after the stroke. Just not knowing what to do in a situation where you think you should know what to do, not knowing how you feel about it. Gut feeling to me is an emotional anchor, like a learned memory. It gives you the information to know what to do in a situation. A thought can seem pretty logical in your mind, but may not be a true representation of what's actually happening. The mental filter issues after a stroke, it kind of makes you think, it turns your imagination into fact and you will believe it. If you're the partner of a stroke patient, you might find that they're making the same mistakes repeatedly. The best way I can describe this is getting all the good advice but doesn't stop you from going through things twice. I was constantly saying the same inappropriate things, doing inappropriate things, and kept getting pulled up on them. This is where the family support comes in. Family and friends to correct you and say this isn't how we do it, that's not appropriate. Time and family support really help with that. We're taught as kids to think before we speak, and something I teach my kids as well, which is interesting because only a few years ago I was relearning it myself. It's actually a really hard skill to master, thinking before you speak. To relearn that, you basically have to fail over and over again and say the wrong thing in conversations to the wrong people. You will relearn it. It takes years, but you will relearn it. Failure is the first key to learning a new skill, so let yourself fail and then just be mindful of it. Meditation helps me a lot with sorting out my feelings. Meditation really helps with sorting out your feelings. Knowing what to say to what person at what time is a really hard skill to master after a stroke. I certainly had a lot of trouble with that. But again, time and family support has made all the difference for me. The way I kind of see stroke recovery is that you have one choice, and that's to face it as best as you can. Just reading some freshly scratched notes. So as I said, mental filter is a huge subject and probably the hardest thing to recover from. Physical stuff's hard, but the mental stuff takes years upon years. It's really hard, the mental stuff. So thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe to see the latest videos. Share them with people that you think need to see them. People like family support for stroke victims or stroke victims themselves. I have been visiting a lot of stroke patients and their family, their support people in hospitals and rehabs. I absolutely love doing it. I do daily FaceTimes with people in a counselling role or just an emotional support. So if anybody needs help out there, contact me at strokerecoveryvideo@gmail.com or on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys.